stupid. What? All right. Try number 2. What's up? How are you?
I'm great.
How are you feeling?
I feel very, very good.
Do you?
Nice
Why?
and recovered
Why do you feel that way?
because I slept like a baby.
You slept like a baby. How?
Do babies sleep good? I think so.
Yeah, babies sleep phenomenally.
Thirdsy, duh.
Oh, Thirdsy. What is Thirdsy?
Thirdsy is a wonderful melatonin-free sleep supplement that I take every night. And it gives me very deep sleep. That's what I will say. It's obviously some days I can sleep longer if I'm not working, but if I'm not sleeping that long because someone doesn't let me go to sleep at night and I have to work in the morning, the sleep that I do get is very good qualities of sleep, and I attribute that to Thirdsy.
Yeah, Thirdsy has GABA, magnesium, collagen, L-theanine, and I think one more thing I'm missing. No, not L-tyrosine. That'd be crazy. I don't know. All the good sleep stuff that doesn't, so it doesn't have to include melatonin in it. It's a great supplement. Use Counterculture ZZZ for 20% off. But anyway, we don't have like a super big amount of time today
No.
to talk because she has to go get Izzy. Today, well, let's go like this. Semifinals, the West Coast Classic just happened. Normally, you guys know I don't like to talk about CrossFit, but there's something I really, really do want to talk about. Semifinals happened this past weekend. We ended up not going. We canceled our trip because of my dog. So we didn't go. And one of our friends competed.
Mm-hmm.
Who was it?
Colton Mertens.
Mr. Colton Mertens. What are they calling him again? What's his
Iron
nickname?
Hog.
The Iron Hog. Imagine having the nickname the Iron Hog.
It's amazing.
I would pack my shorts full of something so it looked like I had the biggest hammer on me if that was my nickname. I don't care if it would impede on my performance, but I'd put like a big dildo or a sock.
That would be fake then. You'd be lying.
True, I don't have to do that, do I? So anyway, yeah, he made it to semifinals, as did a whole bunch of other talented athletes. But something that really stuck out to us this weekend is like he's getting so good at like media and his post game. What do you even call that? Post workout interview or post game interview?
I keep calling it post-game interview
It sounds better.
because that's what like big sports, that's what you call
Yeah.
it, like big sports,
Right.
like football and stuff. But I don't know. Post-event interview?
Let's call it the post game interview. It
Post-test
sounds cooler.
interview?
Post fitness test interview. Post Billy Banks interview. But anyway, he's getting really good at it. And something that I appreciate so much about Colton, and I think it's how we like connected in the first place, is the mindset that he has. Like, why don't you talk about it? Because you actually paid attention. But first off, first, he gives this one post game interview, and then Heather's like freaking out about it, and
What do you mean freaking out?
you're like, you need to watch this.
Oh.
You need to watch his post game interview.
Everybody should watch all of his post-game interviews. They're
Truly,
phenomenal.
even if you're not into CrossFit, which I don't care, I don't give a rip about watching about CrossFit whatsoever. I only watched Colton's heats. That was it, because he's our friend. And but I think that people should watch his post-game interviews, because there's so much, I don't want to say utility, there's so much value in the way that he does it and the way that he speaks about himself in the interviews, that I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish everyone would talk about themselves like this. Every person that I know. I wish everyone would do this. And so anyway, Heather's freaking out about the first one. She tells me I need to watch it. And then the second one, she comes home. I'd been home all day. She comes home. She's like watching the live stream. And she's like, you need to watch what he just did and the interview. And then I got a phone call from somebody and they're like, you need to watch this, what he just did. So I'm like, okay, I guess maybe I should like watch this or something, right? So I just got a text message from Ricky. I sent him a video, and this guy in this video says, last time I checked, Korea's in China, you idiots. You'd have to see the video to know the context. Anyway, so yeah, why don't you tell a little bit more about it? The first one.
I'm trying to remember. I don't even know. I don't even remember exactly what he said.
I'm gonna pull it up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up because this is like the topic of this podcast, this video, is mindset and how to talk about yourself and things. So
This is a foreign concept to me, admittedly, because Justin is very good about talking highly of himself, especially when it comes to like sport or, whatever he's doing. So I think that's why he's so jacked about this, because Colton is doing it. And
well, here's what I think. I think
Justin's done it our entire relationship.
I've done it our entire relationship.
Probably your whole life.
No, I haven't. I to give context, I have been historically, I've been very down on myself about a lot of things. I could accomplish anything and I would have bad things to say about how I got there. I can never, and still it's really hard for me to celebrate wins. I'm sure you can see that. It's hard for me to celebrate wins that I get, but something that I am good at now, because it's a skill that I've developed, is talking myself into doing things or into being a certain person or into being a certain way, and also visualizing myself as this person. And so, what's crazy is that the reason why people don't talk highly about themselves is because so many people are going to be like, it's cocky or it's toxic and it's this and it's that. But you mother effers don't understand. You don't get it. You don't get it. That's the reason why that can be literally the 25% reason why you're not achieving your goals, is because you don't believe it yourself. You don't believe that you are the winner. You don't believe that you are going to make it to semis. You don't believe that you are going to make $80,000 this year, whatever it is. And I would be willing to say half the reason why you can't achieve your goals is because you literally can't get a good thing to come out of your mouth about yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's sad. That's really sad. And it's sad that people look at it as cocky or arrogant or whatever it is.
And I think it can be applied to all parts of life, even like aside from just sport. But I feel like I have really noticed it in sport because of CrossFit, and we have several friends that are at like the highest level that are elite CrossFitters. And so I see different athletes talking differently about themselves. And then like myself being like, obviously I'm not an elite athlete, but an intermediate athlete competing and stuff. Like the way that I have talked about myself in the past compared to like the way that Justin has talked about himself in the past. And like, it is so true. Like mindset and like the way that you talk about yourself and think about yourself is such a big part of being successful.
Yeah, 100% in any avenue. Yeah. Yeah, it's a huge part to being successful for sure. Something else that I want to add, like really bad, is so many people are like, you shouldn't take yourself too seriously. You shouldn't take yourself too seriously. And although I believe don't take yourself too seriously, but some of you better tighten up. Some of you better tighten up and take yourself a little bit more seriously. Here's why. Because so many people make jokes at their own expense, call themselves stupid, call themselves untalented, call themselves whatever. Eventually, you start to believe that shit. Eventually, other people start to believe that. And then other people deem it okay to jump in on the joke. And when they're jumping in on the joke, it's not going to feel like it's a joke anymore. There's some truth in that stuff. If you believe, the reason why you're making that joke and you're not taking yourself too seriously is because you believe part of that. And then it just grows. That belief grows. You're literally playing psychic tricks on yourself to make yourself more stupid, to make yourself less talented, to make yourself less successful. It's not just jokes. Of course, you can make jokes at your own expense sometimes, but a lot of people do it way too much, way too often, and they're way too harsh about the jokes. Again, when you do it, other people are going to make it, or when you make jokes at your own expense, other people are going to think it's okay to then make jokes at your expense, and then it just becomes a freaking avalanche. When you talk positively of yourself, when you talk highly of yourself, forget those people that think, hey, this dude is really cocky, this dude is really arrogant or whatever. Who cares? When you talk highly about yourself, you're more likely to do the things that you need to do, that you want to do, because you're in a good headspace. You're playing psychic tricks on yourself to be able to do the things that you want to do. I don't get it. I don't get where people come in and they're like, oh, he's so cocky. It's like, no, cocky would be like, I'm the best to ever do it. Nobody can ever touch me. Like, you know, I do no wrong. That type, like almost narcissistic, right? But like being positive about yourself, there's nothing wrong with that. So anyway, I want to play the clip of Colton's post-fight interview.
And, you know, after 3 years of making it, you think it would silence some of the doubters, but they're still out there. Just remember, when people are trying to put you down, it says more about their own insecurities than your capabilities. When the chips are in, I got a steady hand. I don't bluff. And that damn sure never fold. I've got a few more surprises coming this weekend.
Is that one it?
Yeah, there's a second.
Wait, was it? Oh, that wasn't it?
No, that is it. There's a second part to it because he says, I've never heard you talk this way about yourself.
I had a little bit of a temper when I was younger, and I kind
of come from the performances there.
Gosh, let's just rewatch it.
And, you know, after 3 years of making it, you think it would silence some of the doubters, but they're still out there. Just remember, when people are trying to put you down, it says more about their own insecurities than your capabilities. When the chips are in, I got a steady hand. I don't bluff, and that damn sure never fold. I've got a few more surprises coming this weekend.
Colton, I have to say, we've talked a number of times over the past couple of years. You've had two 30th place performances at the CrossFit Games. You had a top 20 last year. I've never heard you talk like this. So where has this mindset difference come from? The performance is there, but in terms of the mindset, what's the catalyst for that?
You watched the counterculture.
Yeah, I think that, you know, I had a little bit of a temper when I was younger, and I kind of put that away as I started to grow up. But, you know, this year, some things happened in my life, and I feel like something inside me has become awoken, and I'm not ready to put it back yet.
Oh, I love that. I freaking love that. I love that. I love that he said something has awakened and I'm not ready to put it back yet. Like something in me just like goes like, ooh, you know,
That
it
does
gets me
remind
jacked
me a
up.
lot of you. That's something that you would say for
Yeah,
sure.
dude, it gets me so jacked up. My opinion, Colton Mertens is in his masculine era. You know how so many like chicks right now are like, I'm in my single girl era, or I'm in my
It's the
whatever.
Taylor Swift reference.
Is that what it's from?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because
Okay.
she's got an Eras tour or whatever.
I have no idea.
So everybody says like, this is my whatever era. It's a Taylor Swift reference.
I don't pay attention to anything that.
I think at least. I could be wrong, but
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
I don't pay attention to anything that Witch does. I'm just kidding.
I like Taylor Swift.
I don't.
Okay,
But I
well,
don't.
I wouldn't expect you to.
But I don't not like her.
Yeah,
You know what I
you
mean?
just
I don't care at all. I don't know. Like there's.
Okay, anyway, not Taylor
So there's people that love and then there's people that hate her. I'm like, why? I don't understand either side, so I don't care. But anyway, so I don't know. You want to touch on that? What do you think about it? Like, what do you take when you listen to that? What do you feel like people would take to that? How do you think people would take to that?
I mean, I think my opinion is going to be probably very superficial because I'm a CrossFit fangirl. I'm a big fan of Colton Mertens, and literally, and the podcast that I listen to about CrossFit Savant podcast, they all love Colton Mertens. So like, obviously all the stuff that I listen to is going to be very biased towards that interview. So like, I guess if I were to remove myself from being really excited about that, I think, yeah, like, especially for someone like me who the concept of talking highly about yourself is really foreign. I feel like I would be like embarrassed to say something like that about myself in front of everybody. But like,
Do you
kudos
think?
to him.
Do you
Like,
think? Do you think for people like you in that space, right? So separate this from CrossFit.
Yeah.
Do you think people like you would almost cringe because they're like, I could never like they almost cringe and they like look at it like, how is he saying stuff like that? Because they couldn't put themselves in that position.
I think I might, or I could see people who aren't Colton fans for sure saying that.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not a fan, like if it was someone I wasn't like a big fan of or something, maybe I'd be like, ugh, you know? But like, so it's hard for me to remove myself from that. But I do see what you're saying. Like, somebody could think that was like cringy talking about themselves like that.
Yeah, because what I like, so the point that he said in the beginning is when people have doubts about you, it says more about what they think about their incapability to do something.
Which is so true.
It's so true. And that also, though, drives me to the point of when people cringe or call you cocky or arrogant for speaking highly of yourself, it says nothing about the belief that you have in your brain and the things that you say to yourself. It says so much about how they believe about themselves. Even if they're more successful than you in whatever department, it's still, if they're going to cringe because you're saying things that help you get through what you need to get through, they could never do that about themselves. That's why they cringe about it. That's why they don't like it. That's why they're ready to call you out on a dime over what you're saying about yourself. And it's, you know, I think too, like, you have to be you should be aware of your flaws. Absolutely. This is not to say that you shouldn't be aware of your flaws and that the only thing you should do is talk highly of yourself, because you should definitely have real talk with yourself. You should be aware of the things that you have deficits in or whatever. But if you're aware of the things that you have deficits in and you're trying to work on them, talking positively about those deficits or trying to convince yourself that you will get better at those things, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's such a good strategy to get better. It's such a good strategy. There's so much, like, I don't, man, like, look at the Tony Robbins type, right? The Tony Robbins type, or even the Dale Carnegie type. Like, if you read all these books like Think and Grow Rich, or you read How to Win Friends and Influence People, and the 7, I forget, you know, all these personal development books, they're all telling you that. They're all telling you positive speak. They're all telling you positive speech. But it's like when people actually vocalize it, that's when other people have an issue. They're like, you should keep that stuff inside because that sounds pretty cringe. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
For what? Yeah, I don't know. You had an issue with that. I remember Monster Games 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think that I have definitely improved on that because of you, and because you're always telling me, like, hey, don't be thinking negatively about yourself, or don't be talking negatively about yourself. And probably because that was like my first really big competition. Yeah. And I like had no idea what I was doing. I like didn't have a coach. I like, you know what I mean? I was just like, just very out of sorts with that, I think. And, yeah, I mean, I think last year I went into just such a much better mindset. I actually did TFX in between the two that year, and I went into that competition with just such a completely different mindset. And, you know, like, this is the workout I can crush. These are the things that I know I can do. And it went so much better. And like, a big part of it too, which maybe doesn't relate to this, is just like when it comes to like sport or competition, or like specifically CrossFit, is like going into a mindset with like more of like enjoying what I'm doing and having fun, versus thinking like, oh, these girls are much better than me. I can't handstand walk. I can't snatch this. I can't swim, you know, like those types of things. I think, just going in like the last two, like the TFX and then last year's Monster Games, I just went in with a much better mindset, and it was just so much more enjoyable. And they did better.
Yeah. I mean, again, you're realistic about the things that you're able to do well at. And the things that maybe you have deficits in, you're at least not taking a negative mindset to it. Like, that's really important, right? So, like, being realistic about, like, these are the things that I'm good at. These are the things that I need to work on, right? I'm really particular about how I speak about things. I'm very particular about it because I do believe it to be a manifestation of what's to come. The way that you speak and the way that you write things down, I believe that that helps in manifesting an outcome. And so I'm very particular about it. So a couple things that I don't like to be said in our house or even around me is, and I don't even like to say this as examples, to be honest, but can't or won't or will not or not able to, or I don't know, you name it, right? Anything that puts you in a place where it is going to make you weaker in terms of getting better at something, I don't like that speak. I won't allow our children to speak that way. I always tell them, I am trying, I am going to try, I am getting better at things of that nature, because it's all manifesting an outcome. And I don't mean woo-woo manifesting an outcome. It's just when you say certain things, you do convince your brain. So say it in a positive light so that you set yourself up for a better try next time. That's all I'm saying. And, you know, some of this, not all of this has to be like woo-woo, right? Kind of how I just said it. I just think, I don't know, man. I was just so highly impressed. Like
even his second interview, his second event win, because this man won 2 events at semifinals. His second event, there was talk about 2 of the workouts that were quote unquote damage control. And he specifically says like, yeah, I can't come in here and tell you that I like made a mistake or anything, because I executed it exactly the way I wanted to, exactly how I thought I would. And
that's true too.
You know, so it's like, even when they try to say like, oh man, you finished in a bad place, he was like, no, like not for me. I did good.
Yeah. So he said, I think, I don't want to play this one, but I think he said exactly that. The guy was like, you had 2 like bad placements basically. And then Colton goes,
he called them damage control.
Yeah. And then Colton goes, I would love to sit here and tell you that I did bad.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Yeah.
And so that to me just shows such a like, he's going to be a winner. He will be, because other people would sit there and sulk and have a bad attitude about it. But Colton's sitting there and he's taking everything as a win.
Yeah.
Even his bad placements, right? Like, we could never, or we don't, whatever.
We're not at that level.
Yeah, we're not at that level. But Colton's placements, you know, he looks at those as wins too, because he's like, even though those might not have been his wheelhouse of workouts or whatever, he executed it the way that he needed to execute it. And then at the end of the interview, or part of the interview, he says something along the lines of like, these other guys are really fit.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it's crazy. If you guys haven't seen it, if you're not fans of CrossFit, I just recommend going to Colton's page and looking at that. I wish that Colton would like post more mindset stuff on his page, because he's such a stoic, unbroken person.
Hence his.
I didn't catch that until after I said it. I didn't catch it until after I said it. But we need more people like that are willing to go out on a whim and
it's just such a breath of fresh air for the sport. I think it's just like, it's so good for the sport. And like, not everybody, he's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, that's for sure. But I think it's pretty cool. But
I will say this, in a sport that's full of so many pussies, to be completely honest, in a sport that's full of so many pussies, people that complain a lot, people that are like, the circumstances weren't right for me, or this is just not my workout, the odds were stacked against me. And he turns around and he goes, I would love to tell you that I didn't do well, but I did. I executed what I need to execute. Are you kidding me? In a sport that's full of people who just like cannot get their head on straight, this dude sits there and he's just positive and stoic and is unbothered.
Yeah.
The last thing that I kind of want to say about the whole thing is, you know, for Colton and for people that are like in that position, right? I want to really encourage people, even in your own life, to not accept sympathy from people when things go wrong. Because I want to encourage you to not accept sympathy from people when things go wrong, because when you accept all this sympathy, what is it doing for you? Mm-hmm. What does the sympathy do for you? You know, I would rather have somebody tell you, all right, the outcome didn't happen. Let's get back to work.
Yeah.
Let's go back and let's do the things that we need to do. You know, and there's, you know, you can sit there and you can be in your feels for a little bit, but then when people add this sympathy thing to you, it just stacks up. It's more bricks, right? It's more of the sympathy bricks, and then you feel even worse about it. It's like, I would rather have people around me that are going to be like, hey man, yeah, sucks that you didn't make it. That sucks that you didn't do this thing that you wanted to do. But let's get back to work. Let's do this again. Let's get back on the train. What do we have to do? Let's figure it out now. Let's start working now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I fully believe that that's the type of athlete he is. And I'm sure he was immediately game planning what his next move is and, you know, what he's going to do for this coming year. I think all the Colton fans, though, are sad.
Yeah, probably. So Colton,
I don't want to say it, but I think a lot of us are like, damn.
Yeah, I mean, I was for sure.
Yeah.
I was for sure, but I would never text somebody like him and be like, hey man, so sorry that this happened to you. Absolutely.
He would never want that. You just, I think, you know,
Colton, keep your head up. Colton, keep your head up. Let your nuts hang and get after that work, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what you did was amazing, regardless of what the outcome was. And I know now, you're just going to keep pushing. You're already in the right head. You got that dog in you. Grab your nuts and go, dude. That's it. I mean, really. Dude, I'm honestly, I'm so sick of like the feminization of dudes, and like that we should treat guys the same way that we treat women when something goes awry. Like, it's just like, dude, I truly believe guys and chicks and dudes are fundamentally different, and we're fundamentally different in how we cope with things as well. You know, like when I go through emotional trauma or whatever, like trauma, I don't know that I want to talk about it so much. You know, like, it's not that I want to talk about it. Like, I'd rather go punch a bag or something. Like, I'd rather go let it out, because it's like energy that's stored in me. So now I just want to like beat something up. And after I have that chance, like, does the situation suck or whatever? Yeah, but I'm mostly over it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm mostly over it. And so like when we treat dudes like, talk about your feelings, it's like there's some utility to that, but I don't want to talk to a woman about my feelings. I'd rather talk to a dude that I can trust and that's going to give me some like real advice, and not be like, how else do you feel about it? Do you need to cry? Blah, blah. It's like, that's not what a dude wants. A dude just wants to be able to let it off and then let it go. Mm-hmm. That's it. Women want to talk about their feelings. So like fundamentally, we're so much different. And like, I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that.
But like we think that we should treat everyone how we should treat women. Like,
yeah, I think people.
Sorry for your loss. So sorry about this. If you need anything, blah blah. You know, like, and then it just goes on, and it's like,
I think people think that that's what people want to hear. You know what I mean? I think that that's like, you don't know what to say or what to do, maybe because you haven't been in that circumstance or something. But like, I think that people just think that that's what everyone wants to hear.
But I think that that's like conditioning. Like, we've been conditioned to like think that we've been conditioned to think that everybody needs to talk about their feelings. And if they don't talk about their feelings, then, you know, something's up with it. And like, yeah, I mean, to a degree, like, everybody should talk about their feelings. Everybody should be, maybe not talk about their feelings, but like, everybody should express their emotions in some way, right? But like, that doesn't look the same for everybody. And it for sure doesn't look the same woman to male.
Yeah.
For sure doesn't look that way. But we treat everyone as if they need to express everything the way the female does. Mm-hmm. That's so detrimental to the masculine and to men. But I don't even know how to put it. They always say like, emotional men are violent men and stuff like that. Like emotional men are the violent men, emotional men. But like, I don't really think so. I think that, or wait, sorry. They say that the stoic men, right? The men that don't express their emotions are violent and they're toxic or whatever. But I don't think so. I think the overly emotional men are the ones who are violent. The overly emotional men are the ones who are toxic because they're the ones who they can't take a step back and look at things objectively. They just act on emotion immediately. Those are the ones that you see like beat up their girlfriend because they don't know how to express their emotion or hold their emotion back in a proper way, right? Those are the ones that you see commit crimes like, you know, the really heinous crimes, you know, because they can't express their emotions. They don't have a proper outlet for it. But again, like, yeah, we can't treat it as if we need to express the same way that women do. So whatever. And the whole reason why I'm saying that is just because like, I just think the approach to like the situation with Colton or anybody else shouldn't be like, I'm so sorry. Blah, blah, you know, like.
Yeah. And he's for sure the type of guy who doesn't want all that pity, you know?
No. Yeah, I do know.
So talk positively about yourself.
Yeah. Wow. We just did a whole podcast on Colton Mertens.
I mean,
but it was a good aggregate for a topic.
Yeah, it's a great topic, and he is a perfect example of coming out of your shell and displaying that in a very, very positive, and it, you know, although the outcome of the weekend is not what he, I'm sure, or the rest of us hoped for, I truly think, like, you know, especially spending time with him at Wodapalooza, and he was like, I can win this event, and he goes on and wins the event. Like,
yeah.
You just know, like, you just say you're going to do something.
If he says it, it's probably going to happen, which is another thing. Another thing that men should be aware of. When you say something, do it. When you say something, do it. It's not that freaking hard, man. And especially when you're a man, when you say something, you just do it. Because eventually people are going to start believing that you're not going to do the things that you're going to do. And then you're going to get pissed off. Why don't people believe in me? Why don't people trust me? Why don't people put like their chips in my corner, right? It's because you talk about things a lot and you never do them. That's a big problem with guys.
It's a big problem.
It's a big problem.
It's a big problem.
Like, you guys just don't know how to stick to doing the things you're going to say. And if you don't mean it, don't say it.
Yeah. All right. Good.
So anyways, yep, that's it. So we should talk about the Federal Reserve and how the Illuminati is trying to steal our money and why they put the all-seeing eye on every single dollar bill.
Maybe you should call up Ryan for that one.
Who's Ryan?
Isn't that what his name is, Ryan?
How did you know that I wanted to do that?
Because you just said a conspiracy theory. And he's
Oh
your
my
conspiracy theory
God.
friend.
Oh my gosh. I literally yesterday was looking for his phone number because for some reason I don't have his phone number saved. And he's been a friend of mine, by the way, for like 15 years. I don't have, well, to be fair, he's gotten like 4 new phones since we've like been friends. But wait. I'm telling you something. I told him, I was looking for his number because I was going to text him yesterday and say, hey, do you want to do a deep dive on the Illuminati and stuff podcast with me? Because I think it would be freaking crazy if him and I
call him up for that.
Yeah, if him and I got to just like be like the Eye of Horus, and this is what, you know, they did to Christianity in the beginning and all this stuff. I should. Yeah, I'm gonna do that today. I'm gonna get him to come over this week. All right. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening. Speak into existence what you want. Speak into existence your mindset. Try to like always talk positively about yourself, and you don't have to start like crazy, right? You don't have to start like somebody like me or Colton Mertens, where we literally just put ourselves on a pedestal sometimes. But at least try to get the words can't, won't, will not, cannot out of your vocabulary. At a minimum. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that. Peace out. Goodbye.